Hello everyone. So today our session is on essay, and as decided in the timetable, so we'll be talking about the basic introduction, how to write an essay. But before we go into the technical nitty-gritties of writing an essay, पहले थोड़ा मन की बात करते हैं. Obviously ये मोदी जी की मन की बात नहीं है, ठीक है, मेरे मन की बात है जो as an aspirant that I have experienced, fine, giving the examination, writing for mains and whatever. So that is my experience, and I remember that in my first attempt in 2006, right, that was my first mains, and I got an essay on 200 marks ka essay hota tha usme, right? So I got an essay, I wrote an essay, I picked up an essay on the globalization would finish small scale industries, right? That was the topic that year, right? So now what happened? I felt there were social topics also. There was a topic on education also, and there was a topic on Panchayati Raj also. But I picked up it because I had an interest in economics also, and that was my first attempt. So public administration was my optional, physics was the optional. So I thought of taking up this topic. I thought maybe it is something unique, right? And it was a globalization wave, so I thought of doing that. So मैंने जो है लिखा, and I thought I wrote a very good essay, right, around 1500 words, right, roughly I think 1400 something words. That time we need to use to count the number of words also and used to write it, right? So I made a roadmap. I spent around 1 hour thinking about it, wrote it. I thought I wrote a very good essay, which can be suitable enough to be put into the editorial of Hindu. Right? That was my perception, right? And anyways, I was writing well since my childhood also. I was into writing, poetry, essays, letters. Fine. I also got one kind of consolation award for writing a good essay in the Chronicle Civil Services magazine that used to come. And they used to have an essay competition. So I got an award there also. I thought maybe I write very well. So I started writing it, I wrote it, and eventually I got 107 marks, right? There were people whom I think were not very good writers, like they were in my gang, they were my friends. They were not writing very well. They did not have that kind of expression, neither the vocabulary, but they got 117, 121. And so this made me wonder कि भाई ऐसा क्या है? उनकी मन की बात और मेरी मन की बात में इतना फर्क क्यों है? और मैंने मन के साथ साथ बुद्धि भी लगाई है, दिमाग भी लगाया. And so using the brains also quite intelligently in terms of my vocabulary and content, right? So next year what happened, 2007, I picked up a topic, socially relevant topic, right? Now socially relevant topic was basically related to women and education, right? The transformation of society can only be brought about by women education, right? So I took that topic and I started writing it, and you'll not believe my scores jumped from 107 to 129, right? And now I realized कि अच्छा क्या topic, एक particular topic choose करने से क्या ज़्यादा अच्छा होता है. Then I realized maybe because my background was public administration, right? And next year I took sociology instead of physics, right? So I thought कि अच्छा हो सकता है कि ये topic choose करने से मुझे कुछ फायदा हो, right? So I said it's okay, let me take it. Then the very next year now I chose another topic related to Panchayat, local governance, transformation, grassroots development, right? And I scored 142 marks. Last attempt 2008-9, I scored 147 out of 200, right? And consistently the scores were improving. I got the knack of it, right? I never studied essay in that sense, right? Obviously I used to read books. Neither I did some dedicated course on essay. There were a lot of courses that time also. Because what I realized was that essay must be your expression. तो ये मन की बात इसलिए थी कि आप एज एन एस्पिरेंट आप, मैं आपको जानता हूँ, मैं पढ़ाता हूँ, और एज एन एस्पिरेंट मैं खुद भी उस फेज से गया हूँ, तो मुझे पता है कि कितना मुश्किल है फॉर ऑल दो स्टूडेंट्स टू राइट एसे, ठीक है, जिन्होंने बहुत टेक्निकल बैकग्राउंड से पढ़ाई की है, लाइक मी इंजीनियर्स, right? We used to hardly write paragraphs, right? We used to make everything in more or less the codes. Humanities, obviously, it is more easy because they have a flair for writing. They have a bent for writing their descriptive answers, right? But still, essay becomes a very technical area, okay, which may not be uh, uh, having any relationship with your background, ठीक है? और तो ये एक simple सा एक anecdotal example था that what I did and what happened with me. So finally scoring somewhere around 70% marks in essay, right? So there was one of the person who scored more than me. He was 155 something, a history student, I remember. But I was technically the second scorer, one of the top scorers of essay in UPSC, right? So coming from that experience, right, I realized that, okay, essay writing is no rocket science. Essay writing is not something what myths have been created. Fine, I can keep using jargons for you, jargons and jargons कि भैया जो है डिस्क्रिप्टिव होना चाहिए, एनालिटिकल होना चाहिए, इंट्रोडक्शन होना चाहिए, बॉडी होना चाहिए, कंक्लूजन होना चाहिए, बॉडी में मिनिमम 3 पैराग्राफ्स होने चाहिए, इंट्रोडक्शन ब्रेक. What is all this? Right? See, it can give us just a skeleton, a framework. Fine. Nobody can exactly tell you what should be the content or what should be the enriched content of that writing. To each on its own. That is what essay is about. Right? You have your own experiences. You have your own cosmos of knowledge. You have your own frame of knowledge that you have acquired over the time, and the way you have experienced the society, the way you have seen the grassroots problems of the society, the way you have witnessed a lot of incidents in your lives. राइट अब किसी को सोचो कि भाई कोई डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट के बारे में लिख रहा है और वो खुद एक डिजास्टर से आया है, वो ठीक है, वो भुज अर्थक्वेक से आया है या उत्तरकाशी अर्थक्वेक से आया है, ठीक है, या फिर किसी और डिजास्टर साइक्लोन से आया है, उड़ीसा से है, केरला से है, व्हाटएवर. फाइन. सो यू कैन रियलाइज कि उनके जो एक्सपीरियंसेस होंगे दे विल बी वेरी गुड, and we cannot match that experience just by reading certain books on disaster, right? The first hand experience is not just an information that you acquire. The first hand experience changes or molds your sentiment also for that, right? So you can understand that way कि भाई essay writing जो है कोई बहुत एक technical exercise नहीं है, कोई cut and dried method नहीं है, लेकिन बहुत सारे लोग जिनको लिखने की आदत नहीं है, and more so in the age of technology, ठीक है, जहाँ पे हम जो है okay FYN fine, FY9 fine, fine, okay, CU, ठीक है. So the way we are writing today, fine, it is obviously exploiting our vocabulary. It has almost downgraded the role of a good writing, and that is where the UPSC exam becomes a kind of nightmare for many of these people who do not have. Now we are typing it, तो editor सब कुछ ठीक कर देता है, स्पेलिंग किसको याद रहती है? तो अगर आप एक ऐसे लिखोगे और आपकी स्पेलिंग खराब है, right? आप इंग्लिश में लिखो, हिंदी में लिखो, whatever language you are writing. Now if your spelling is wrong, fine, if your grammar is wrong, then obviously they would, or it would raise eyebrows of the exam. So आप ये नहीं बोल सकते मैं परफेक्ट एडिटर की तरह लिखूंगा, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं आप अगर इंग्लिश में लिख रहे हो तो कम से कम एक लैंग्वेज तो आपकी ठीक होनी चाहिए, ग्रामेटिकली सही होना चाहिए, आपकी वोकैबुलरी ठीक होनी चाहिए. एटलीस्ट यू मस्ट हैव द एबिलिटी टू यूज द राइट वर्ड्स फॉर द राइट एक्सप्रेशन. So all in all, said and done, fine. My logic of explaining this to you with my own experience was that essay is not something out of the box that you have to do. It is something that we do every day. Now most of you, okay, let's say essay का एक simple meaning क्या है? Fine, essay is to make an effort. Essay is to make an effort to try, right? And essay literally would mean, okay, a descriptive piece of writing on a particular topic. Right. Now that piece of writing, what exactly it should be, that is our concern, right? How it should go, in the form of a prose, fine, in the form of a poetry, it can be in the form of a criticism, critique, it can be in the form of a dialogue, it can be in the form of an argument, it can be descriptive, too descriptive, elaborative. Fine, if you have ever read the Nobel Prize winners, so why do they get Nobel Prize? It's not just about the story they are telling. Fine, it is about the finesse, it is about the details of the story that is very important. So if you're describing a tribal community, fine, and you're giving some information about it, it cannot be justified, okay, in terms of a good writing, because that is just an information वो Google भी आपको बता देगा. But एक writer का काम क्या होता है कि वो उसको vividly describe करता है, the way he describes it, That becomes the most pertinent aspect. So you can create a visual imagery out of the words that you're reading. Okay. Now that is where the essay comes. So when you want to convey something to the examiner, for example, a simple story I'll tell you, a very interesting story about essay. So in Harvard, there was a teacher, an experimental teacher, who gave a story, an essay, actually, to the students to write the essay. Right? The topic was what is bravery, right? What is courage? That was the topic. So people started writing it, and he told them that okay, he'll give a personalized reward. Anyone who wins the essay will get a special reward from the teacher, right? And so he asked them to write it, right? They started writing. Many people wrote tons and tons of paper. Okay, they took a lot of sheets and wrote many things about what is the meaning of bravery, okay, their personal experiences, and so many other things. Right? Theoretical aspects of bravery, how to define courage, what can be courage in political aspect, economic, and all those things. Fine, like we say, multi-dimensional perspective, right? So all of them wrote it. There was a boy who wrote it for just 10 minutes, and he left the class. So everybody was mocking at him, okay, that how this person could not write on such a simple topic, okay, like what is courage, what is bravery, fine. So now after 2 days, the results were announced, and that boy won the reward. Now, how many of you can give me a reason for that? Why did he win the award? Can you think of it? Right? Can you speculate why did he win the award? And what would he would have written in those 10 minutes that he got the award? Now people came questioning the teacher that why did you award him? Why did you reward him? This person was not, he did not even write a complete paper, he did not write a single page, and likewise. So he told them about their essays, that your essays have very flowery language. Fine, your essays have a lot of descriptions, a lot of analysis, a lot of information. Okay, but what was missing? Okay, the soul of the essay. Fine, the central theme of the essay was missing. What was the theme of the essay? The theme of the essay was what is bravery. So instead of just describing what bravery is, this reflection of bravery must be there in your answer or in your essay. What that boy did, he simply wrote, okay, this is courage, okay, and full stop, and left the exam. So see, okay, denying the reward, okay, denying writing anything was his courage. But obviously, we cannot think of that scenario in UPSC, no doubt. Fine, that is a traditional exam, that was more of an experimental classroom. Fine, it was more of creativity. But this exam may not require that kind of creativity, right? So out of the box thinking is necessary, right? But it does not deviate way away from what is the standard procedure of the examination. So let us see, simplify in a very logical sense that essay, right? The important aspect of essay is first, like I said, it is something to try. It is something to, make an effort for. That is an essay, right? If you talk about the verbatim meaning of essay, then it would be like you can say writing a descriptive piece on certain thing, on a particular topic, right? So the very important aspect of essay is what exactly is the essay, right? Now, many of you would have written, obviously, letters in your lives. Okay. Maybe not to your parents, but obviously you might have written some other letters, right, to certain people, right? And probably now you're in that age where you must be telling that how to write love letters to your juniors. So you're not writing it now, but still you would have tried it, right? Now, when you think of writing something, okay, something like that, what do? Right? You try to present your entire thought, your entire emotion into that writing. You basically want to convey or present yourself through that writing, because that is more of a passionate content that you are, right? When you write letters to your parents, right, your tone is more respectful. Your tone is emotional, yet respectful, not that passionate. A sense of obedience is reflected, right? When you're writing to your peers, a kind of casualness will be visible. Now, so when we are saying essay is obviously not a letter. It is not a personalized account of something. Though the essay will improve in terms of its representation or expression if there are certain exact experiences that you have done regarding a particular topic. Definitely it will improve it, but it is not a personalized account. It is not a passionate letter. It is not a obedient letter. It is not an expression of obedience or respect. No. Neither it is as casual as writing to your peers. Fine. Neither it is as pedagogic or you can say didactic as it is to your juniors. या आप उनको preach करते हो. ये भी नहीं होता है. ठीक है. तो सबसे important चीज है कि भाई ये है क्या? What is it? Is it simply an elaboration? Is it simply a description of a topic? Is it simply an analysis of a topic? No. There are three important ingredients to understand the importance of this piece that we call an essay. Right? One is that it must be expressive. Right? So let me make it more bold. It must be really expressive. But what kind of expression? It must not be a personalized account of expression. जैसे कि लोगों ने पूछा कि भाई the government ने पूछा कि आप स्वच्छ भारत अभियान के बारे में what is the role of स्वच्छ भारत अभियान in promoting consciousness in the society, right? Or whether the स्वच्छ भारत अभियान has brought about behavioral changes in the society or not. अब आप मोदी जी को क्रिटिसाइज करने लगे, fine? या आप उनको प्रेज करने लगे, ठीक है, या भक्त बन गए या केजरीवाल बन गए, but that is not the way, fine? So एक personalized account नहीं होना चाहिए, but expressive होना चाहिए. Now expressions कैसे create? ठीक है, ये भी बहुत logical सी चीज है. That am I a part of that, or am I observing it from outside? ठीक है. So दो टाइप के expressive writings हो सकती हैं. One, you are as a participant, and one as the non-participant. आप एक neutral observer हो, fine, and आप एक उसका part. ठीक है. अब जैसे communal rights पे कैसे, right? Religious conflicts के ऊपर एक ऐसे है, diversity के ऊपर एक ऐसे है, fine. The linguistic parochialism, the conservatism उसके ऊपर एक ऐसे है, fine. Women related ऐसे है, gender development पे ऐसे है. अब आप empathize नहीं कर सकते as a male. Whatever you say, okay, you are a product of a patriarchal society. Right? We all have patriarchal elements, so they will never bring us to that neutral level where we can actually empathize with women. Right? We cannot, yeah, we can to an extent. I'm not saying we are not empathetic to that, but what I'm trying to say is that we cannot really empathize it. We cannot role play exactly that way. So when you are exactly role playing, or you have been there, you are a participant. Fine. But when you are a keen observer with an intellectual and an emotional understanding of something, you are a non-participant, still you are expressive. So expressive का मतलब क्या है? अगर मैं बोलता हूँ कि भाई we as a society, are we capable, we as a civilization, are we capable of controlling epidemics like corona? Right? Or as we as a society have failed. अब ये philosophical हो गया. See, एक लाइन है जो कि बहुत प्रैक्टिकल, पॉलिटिकल और गवर्नेंस ओरिएंटेड है, राइट? कल्चरल पर्सपेक्टिव भी होगा उसका. सो वी एज अ सोसाइटी हैव वी फेल्ड, राइट? लेट मी राइट इट सो दैट यू कैन गेट द क्यूज, बिकॉज़ दिस सेशन is going to be in many parts, right? It is not just in one day that you know or you learn how to write a good essay. So let's say we as a society have failed, or let us replace it, make it more broader, we as a civilization, right, have failed to, okay, control the global or the universal epidemics. Epidemic तो सिर्फ इंडियन हो गया. Pandemics like corona, for example, right? Now see, what can be various dimensions and interpretations of this? Let us say, अब ये एक statement क्या है? It is more talking about civilization. ठीक है? Now that is the key word. Try to understand. Keyword होता क्या? लोग बोलते हैं keyword क्या है? सर ऐसे में है क्या? Focus क्या है? Fine? दो टाइप के focus होते हैं. जैसे हम zoom कर रहे हैं भाई, अभी ये पढ़ा रहा है, ठीक है, हमारे पास बहुत सारे लिमिटेशंस है, तो हम कैमरे से पढ़ा रहे हैं, तो एक हम जूम करते हैं, ठीक है। तो आपको बहुत सारी चीजें हम नहीं दिखा रहे हैं, ठीक है, जो हम नहीं दिखाना चाहते, फाइन। तो वी आर स्पेसिफिक फोकसिंग ऑन अ पर्टिकुलर एरिया, बट अगर हम इसको जूम इन करते हैं और जूम आउट करते हैं, then you get a wider perspective of what we are, where we are, what we are doing, right? Try to understand. So the logic is कि एक इन फोकस एरिया होता है, एक आउट फोकस एरिया। इन फोकस एरिया का मतलब होता है कि भाई ये इसका कोर, जो इसका कोर कंसर्न क्या है, right? What is the core concern? So we as a civilization, that is the key word, not the corona. Most of us fail to understand, okay, this is the keyword, not this. Pandemic gives us the cue, right? Pandemic gives us the prop, ठीक है। वो हमें एक क्या बोल सकते हैं, that we can use a word that it is an instigator to question us. So civilization fail हो गया, and this is what we are talking about, and as the consequence of the instigator like the corona. अब ये बहुत सिंपल सी चीज है, अभी आपको ठीक लग रहा है, सिंपल लग रहा है कि मुझे अच्छा समझ में आ रहा है, राइट? बट जब आप इसको एग्जाम में पहुंचोगे और आप टॉपिक्स चूज करोगे तो क्या आप उतना टाइम देते हो? You have a lot of time to write the essay, but you don't give time. Now you write 2 essays, for example. Maybe future में 3 essays लिखना होंगे, fine. But the logic is कि उतना time still you have that you can write. 2200 words, 2500 words, you have, now there is a limit also. But आप अगर उतना वर्ड्स लिखते हो तो वो essay नहीं होता है, fine. वो essay नहीं है, ठीक है। वो एक और पोथी है वाल्मीकि की, या रामायण आप लिख रहे हो एक और, जो रामायण कोई पढ़ने को तैयार नहीं है। दैट इज वेरी ट्रू, फाइन। सो एक वो रामायण दोबारा मत लिखो, फाइन। तो डोंट रीइन्वेंट द व्हील अगेन एंड अगेन, दैट इज नॉट रिक्वायर्ड। 2500, 2200, 2000 वर्ड्स कोई चीज होती, कौन करेगा? आप क्या उतनी कंटिन्यूटी मेंटेन कर सकते हो अपने आप? नहीं कर सकते। आप अपनी राइटिंग में एक क्लैरिटी मेंटेन कर सकते हो? नहीं कर सकते। आपको 15 मिनट 20 मिनट बोलने को बोल दिया जाए तो आप लगातार नहीं बोल सकते, right? So try to understand that this is now one aspect. So this is how we find a keyword, right? Now let me reshape this. We as a civilization, अब ये कोरोना के ऊपर एक क्वेश्चन है, ठीक है, पैंडेमिक के ऊपर क्वेश्चन। अब ये बोलते हैं कि भाई, okay, have we failed our future generations as a civilization or as a society? अब ये क्या है? सी, अब ये ऐसे थोड़ा कल्चरल और सोशियो कल्चरल पर्सपेक्टिव में ज्यादा था। अब ये जो क्वेश्चन है, सेम, इट इज मोर और लेस द सिमिलर टॉपिक, ये अब मोर फिलोसफिकल पर्सपेक्टिव में। अब राइट, अब यहाँ सिविलाइजेशन इंपॉर्टेंट है? नहीं। व्हाट इज द की वर्ड? ओके, हैव वी फेल्ड आवर फ्यूचर? नाउ दैट इज द की फोकस, नॉट दिस, right? Yeah, civilization will be used like a framework and instigator. So we have to focus more on what has been the failures, what are the manifestations of these failures, and not the civilization per se. But here it is more on the civilization, right? So essay will have many parts. Essay is more like a storytelling, but yeah, it is not a story in the terms of a script, in a dialogue, no, or actors. Right? Essay, you are the actor, you are the protagonist, you are leading the essay. But then the person who is reading you, right, must have a heart-to-heart connect to you, right? And that is how, but it should not be personalized account. But still, what do we say? A selfless empathy, right? A selfless compassion, right? An emotionless association that you make with the exam. A dispassionate association. But association must be there, connect must be there, fine? So we'll keep talking about it. This is not a very small area which can be finished in a class. We don't intend to do that way also. We will take you through step-by-step understanding of what essay is. Fine, we'll write essays also on certain topics. And at the same time, you can understand that we would be dealing with various facets of what an essay or what it could be, and how making certain changes in your vocabulary, in your style of presentation, how you upgrade or downgrade the quality of an essay, how the marking scheme works in the essay, because my own personal experience in this writing this examination and qualifying almost every time, mind, that makes me a very worthy person to explain you these things, because I've been through that process. Right? We have not been brought from the top. We have just struggled through this stage. So thank you for watching. Take care. All the best to you. See you again.